Hey, good morning, Good evening, family friends. Well, today I would like to share a few things. How God is so good for me. So, well, I'm gonna just take it back a little something, a little back. You know, I went to prison. I did prison time for like 20 years, and it was for second degree murder, which was like a trick had went bad. So now, things had things that went really bad while I was locked up for them 20 years. It was hard, and it was very hard. And I didn't even know what exactly what I was going, how I was going to make it. But then as years had started going by, I wrote letters to my mom and my family and stuff. And my family, they was there for me, especially my mom. But if it wasn't for my mom turning me in, I wouldn't be here. I would have been somewhere, 6 feet under. The life I was living. I didn't have a, you know, I never, I didn't have a good upbringing because it was stuff that was going on in my family. But I had to give them. I was in girls' homes way before I went to prison. I had actually, while I was locked up in prison, I took trades, which was billing trade, plus bills, and all that, to try to pass the time. I helped people in there also, which was the elderly, which they had units, for people that who needed special care. Then I was in a special unit too, which I felt like I was about to lose my mind and stuff. So I couldn't understand it at first. I also attempted, suicide, which I was a cutter, and actually it conceded almost until they found me in my cell. Then after that, in which it was, when I got out of prison, it was like, I had a misunderstanding with my family at that time. I got out 2009. It was like, it was like a few days around before my birthday. I went to church on that Easter Sunday, which my birthday fell on Easter Sunday. It was just the stuff that I was going through. I didn't even know which way I was coming and going at first. You know, I had a parole officer. Her name was Mrs. Williams. She tried to, try to send me back to prison, and I couldn't believe it because she was really mean. She knew that she thought I didn't have anybody, but I was involved with a female. Her name was Irene Dean, and I was with her for like 15 years. Everything was fine and dandy until the abusive started. I was in a very, I was in a very bad relationship at that time. All things wasn't, was not, it was like not peaches and cream. We did have some good times. We traveled, you know. I helped her, raise her grandkids. They loved me. Everybody loved me at that time. But now I sat back. Now, I found out that, how I found God when I came out here. A couple of people had, helped me get a place out here. Which I stay in Westland. And Westland is very nice. I have a home church, and my church is Salvation Army, and I'm inherent there now. So I've been going there almost, like almost 2 years. And God had delivered me from a lot of things because I knew at that time I was lost. I was so lost in this world in the beginning. Some of us, like I didn't understand it at first, but there's another couple things that I did though. I actually stabbed myself in the liver before I got saved. You know, and before I got saved, it I was lost. You know, and I had like a couple. I had some deaths in my family, which was one of them was my brother, and I was doing. I was like, and I really snapped, and so I started using drugs at the time, trying to numb the feeling, try to numb it. And it was just, but every time I had got higher and higher, it took that it was just it was still there. So this particular moment, my dad, he had basically told me, he said, Doc, because I went over his house and he said, well, I'm gonna tell you something, Doc. Let your brother rest in peace. He's not coming back. So I finally, realized it and all that. It was that it took me some time to realize that what I did, I haven't used since I stopped using at like the year 2017 till after I had moved in with my dad, and I've been clean, so things like that. I was really, it helped me. And my dad gave me a bunch of herbs and stuff, and he just said, "Well, I need you to make sure you you make sure you everything is okay." You know, so I had finally had moved back to moved out of this house, and I stayed on Callahan with a friend of mine, which was in the basement. Then I ended up back involved in this relationship, which was Irene Dean. So Irene Dean she was very toxic, So I kept going back and forth, But I know now that the good Lord have saved me for everything I've done. So He had really, 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 put a spiritual whooping on me, which it was last year. I stopped messing around with same sex, and my spiritual walk. Yes, it is a struggle. So I basically said, God give me the strength, and He helped me through everything that I can, that that I've been through. So now things like this, what we all went through, it's just like we go through trials and tribulations, and tribulations will help us to keep, we if we don't know how to let go and let God. Some of us have so many trials and tribulations, we be sitting back looking like we dumbfounded. I know me. It was times that I looked at really dumbfounded. Trust and believe that. I know me. I know what Joe. I was sitting in my apartment, and as of today, as of any time, sometimes I get bored, sometimes I don't. So I find stuff to do, you know, which I go to my church. Sometimes I volunteer with them, help them, do stuff, keep, this help. And when I do it, like they had this Bible study for the kids, which was last week. I was real busy, so busy to the point that my understanding was like, "Thank you, Jesus," because that was all I was doing the Lord's work. We all have to find something that is gonna help the Lord, help us to serve God. Because sometimes some of us we don't even know God. I know I didn't know Him at first. I didn't, and I'm not gonna lie to you. I know that He saved me from from numerous things that happened. You know, when I used to jump out of cars, I used to wonder why. I said, "Dang, what am I wanting?" Jump out of cars because something went bad. And I'm talking about this is way before I got locked up, and I didn't even know God at first. I didn't. You know, I always thought that God was not listening to me, which I was raised, under which was Islam. When I was a little girl, I remember times and times and times again, I would fall asleep every time it was prayer time. And what the stuff I know now, sure, I know that I can, sure, I'm going to be lost without my good Lord. Without the good Lord, I will be lost. I have experienced so much in life. I experienced so much. You know, I lost a couple of people this year, which was my nephew. He died of a drug overdose. I just wonder why. I was wondering why, what made him pick that up. I don't know. And it hurt me to my heart because I didn't even know he was on drugs. Then turned around, I lost my cousin. Somebody killed him, shot him 9 times, and it took a lot out of me not to go out and do it, find justice. What I did, I found justice by calling people and speak up and speak up for Detroit. Crime for in certain areas, and the family is trying to find some justice. I sit. Yeah, I go home. I come home. Sometimes I ride my bike, but then sometimes the enemy try to antagonize me too, and he really do. He'll try to antagonize me. When he try to antagonize me, he try to get at me, and I say, Satan, get behind me. Today I was, on my laptop thinking about my brother. I saw some clippings of him. Made me start thinking. I think about my family, trying to make sure they stay good. I want them to, find God just like I did. You know, I know Irene Dean, she going through it, 'cause she lost her son. But I rather all of us find God. Stop going and finding stuff that's going to try to numb us. Because we have to let go and let God, and God is the only one who can help us. You know, we have to say what's right. Some of us have kids. Even though I can't have kids because it's due to certain issues when I was coming up. Some of us have kids. They teach the kids teach the kids how to cuss, Some kids use drugs and don't even know which way they're coming and going. It's time to raise these kids the right way by going to church, having Bible studies with them, because life is too precious, you know. And hold on, I'll be right back. I might have to, it's gonna take me about a second. Just hold on. This is what I listen to every morning. And you hear it right now, God is good all the time. I gotta go get me a cigarette right now. I'm back. I'm about to show you some videos, some pictures of my family, and the ones I still have I grieve, you know, and truly what I do, what I go through. Um, this is my brother, the one who had died of leukemia. Me and him was real close. That's my brother again with my other brother, Bahayuddin. Tell you this, I miss them. I miss him so much. This is my dad and my brother and my sister G. And this all of us. You might not. I hope you can see this like the glare, but that's all of that's that's me. That's me. That's me. My sister Rashida, my sister Reedy, my brother, and my brother Bahayuddin. That's him. He graduated out of daycare. And daycare, back in that time, oh my goodness, we had, they used to have a ball. This is my brother when he was little. He was the baby, baby. Um, then I have pictures of my dad. You know, see, that's my dad at the bottom. That's my brother, and that's my nephew. My nephew, he had died. That's the one on top. He died of a drug overdose. My dad died from cancer, but from the Roundup, and my brother died from leukemia. Um, um, and it was another thing I wanted to share with you. I was in a bad car accident right before after my brother had passed. This is the very car that I got in a bad car accident. Only thing was messed up was these two fingers. And you see how bad the car was messed up. I'm surprised that I made it because the car was basically was total. And the way how this car had so I hit a tree and the car flipped over two or three times on top of another car. And this is how bad this car accident was. I didn't even know which way I was. I didn't even know how I was gonna get out the car until God told me. He said, "Open up the door," because at first the door was jammed. In this very car, I was like, "Oh my goodness!" I don't know if I was gonna be. How did I make it? Well, God saved me, and that's the coat. That was my coat inside the car. It was a G6, and this is how bad. And that's how bad I was in the accident. I will never forget it. Now this is me right now. I'm a church going woman, but and this is another close friend of mine. You know, I call him my nephew, and they always make sure I'm good. And this is my chunky butt. I miss her so much. This is Marco. He's locked up. Hopefully he get out of prison with the good Lord's help. This is my brother and my cousin. He was in the hospital doing like leukemia. That's me sitting down, with the girl I was with. This is my sister and her kids and her husband. Her husband, he had died he passed away. This is the one we was in the hospital when my brother had passed. I didn't look. I know I don't look the same. You see how that picture? I was really looking bad. That's me right there at the end, and the rest of my family. That's my mom right there. And this is how my brother looked. He was very healthy. He was so healthy. But I'm just like, it was just I go through enough, so I know now that I sit back and I do I do it much more thinking. But today it's just one of them days I'm feeling kind of gloomy, and I'm thinking about my dad because around in September 16th, that's when my dad September 16th of 2018, that's when my dad had passed, and I've been thinking about him more too. But that's I'm letting y'all know that God, He keeps me going. He keeps me going. It be it be sometimes the devil try to make me feel like I don't have nobody, but no, God is with me all the time, and I feel it. But I just want y'all to know this that I wish I wish that the ones that I lost I could see them again. But I know until the good Lord picks my flower, I already know we'll meet again. I was involved with someone. His name was James Williams, and I had lost him at a young age. Because he was a very good guy. I would have been married to him if he was still alive. But I can't cry over spilled milk. I'm just, sitting here just wondering, and just want everybody to know. Yeah, I might not see things as it is sometimes, but I do. I accept it because that's a part of life, and I know God. I know God keep me strong. I know because I know He do what's right for me. You know, so I know that y'all think I know that we all go through it, but to tell you the truth, it's so quiet where I stay at. I ain't that far from, I'm not that far from the airport. My church is right around the corner, literally. Um, you go to different, certain stores. It's right around the corner. I stay alone. Sometimes, I be having, I have company. My company come and see me, which they do. They visit me. I have people that come through. I even counsel some, people that who needs help, you know. But life is too precious. It's too precious just to waste it on little things that don't mean nothing. Meaning as going to the bar, going to bars, and doing drugs. Because all it's gonna do is gonna lead us to self-destruction. And I saw some stuff back in my time. I mean, one time I went to when I was using drugs at the time. When I was using drugs, I seen so much going on. I went in this dope house. This dope house was something else, and I seen it, and I said, "Is this is where I'm going to be at? Is I'm going to, end up like this? Because some people have lost their lives, in there, and I ain't seen them in a while. until I find out and look on Facebook that they died, someone killed them. And it's not good. And then I went to a neighborhood, precisely went to a neighborhood. And this neighborhood, oh my goodness, I would not wish this on my worst enemy. Or a prison either. Yeah, excuse me, I'm smoking a cigarette. Especially what I've seen, it's just like how this world we living in is so corrupted. I saw it. I saw it for myself. And then it's some out here too. But I just pray to God, I say, help us, Father, because this world is so corrupted. I seen people that was on their addiction, doing their addiction. Some of them alcoholics. Some of us is alcoholics too now, and some of us can't find our way. I ran across some people though. I have, and I pray for them. You know, I have to because I'm doing the Lord's work, and God asked me. He said, "Whatever He places on my heart, I try to deal. I try to just, I say what I have to say, make it short and simple. You know, because I don't want to end up, end up in hell. Which this down here we are living in hell. The devil's real. He's real for real. I can't. No, 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 no. It was time that I sat back and I would look at him. I said, okay, it's time. It's time to get my praise up. But yeah, he tried to tempt me, and for the last couple of days, I noticed some stuff though that he he tried to tempt me again. I call on God. I call on the good Lord because I know that's nothing but the devil. And it's like he can bring that very person that one season that very person back and think it's gonna and think it's gonna be okay. And that person that I had left, it just it took it just like all of a sudden it just hit me in my face again. But I'm not going backwards, I'm going forward. Cause the stuff around here that we're doing is not good. But I'm gonna end this because I gotta sit outside for a minute and get it, enjoy it because it's been raining like cats and dogs. But I tell y'all this, I love you and God bless you. And God is good all the time. I know I did this is my first, my first announcement. This time it would be better because I'm trying to, feel myself on going live and doing, and I'm gonna get into more details because I'm gonna tell you. I told you bits and pieces about me, bits and pieces, but I'm gonna tell you from the beginning how it started and how it ended. And I just told y'all a little bit about me and showed you some stuff about my family. So y'all be good and wait for my next live and take it as it is. Let God shine upon you. Let Jesus shine His light. You know, let Him shine. Let His light shine, because He's shining in me. So you all have to be strong and keep your faith up in Him, and because He gonna make things happen for us. And I know for sure. He gonna make things happen. And y'all good, and we all good. So have a blessed day. Much love all day, every day.